Welcome to Vetted Conversations, coming to you from Media Row at Super Bowl 60. This is our roadshow series where we take the mission on the road and our bias for patriotism travels with us. Today, our host Neil Nathan sits down with two Navy veterans with the Wounded Warrior Project. These veterans talk through finding a new community of camaraderie with Wounded Warrior Project, what America means to them, and their exciting plans for Super Bowl Sunday. We're your veteran and military family member hosts, bringing you the conversations that matter. So let's get into it.
Hey everyone, this is Neil Nathan, your host for Vetted Conversations here on Radio Row in San Francisco, California. And I have the pleasure of being joined by Joe Lloyd and Nelly Nelson. Thank you both for making the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what brings you to Radio Row this week.
We're here representing the Wounded Warriors Project. It's an organization that helps vets with mental illness. And so we're here, just taking in the festivities and representing the Wounded Warriors organization.
Fantastic. Go for it.
Yeah, so I'm here too. Wounded Warrior Project surprised me with Super Bowl tickets. So they've been awesome. What a great company. What a great organization. I appreciate all of their time, and I'm over the moon for being here.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, we heard about the Super Bowl ticket giveaway. Was that a surprise for both of you?
Absolutely. We spent some time up in Oregon, in Bend, Oregon, during Project Odyssey. While I was up there, I met quite a few folks from Wounded Warrior Project, some NFL representatives, and all of a sudden I get a call from one of the media guys that works for the Jaguars. He said, "Hey, Wounded Warrior Project." He said, "Hey, come on up. Come see a game on us. We'll have you on the field. We may ask you a few questions about the Wounded Warrior Project, and then you'll be on the field. You just wave and say hi." And so I was expecting to answer a few questions about Project Odyssey and how Wounded Warrior Project helps veterans. But then they walked up with Lloyd from the Jaguars, walked up and surprised me with 2 Super Bowl tickets. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
That's fantastic. And Lloyd is your son, is that right, Joe?
Yes, that's correct. Devin is my son. Super proud of him. Super proud of everything that he's accomplished thus far throughout his career. And, the journey is just a beginning for him.
That's fantastic. And maybe tell me a little bit about your military careers and, how you got started in the military, and then post the military, how you got involved with the Wounded Warrior Project and all the work that you're doing now.
So for myself, I served 30 years in the United States Navy. I was a Chief Warrant Officer. Met a lot of great people. Loaman and I, we were first met back in 2011. We pre-commissioned the USS San Diego. I was the communications officer. He was the network officer guy. So we just met, built a strong friendship, and it just lasted throughout the test of time. As far as the Wounded Warriors, my son Devin actually invited me to the Wounded Warriors Project Odyssey that was in Bend, Oregon. So I was been involved with the Wounded Warriors throughout my career, but this is my first actual project that I participated in, thanks to my son Devin inviting me to go there. So we went out there, man, had a great time. It was very therapeutic for a lot of people. Met a lot of brothers and sisters from all branches of the United States military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It was a great experience. It was very therapeutic. We had a lot of group sessions. We had a lot of activities that kept us busy. Just the people that we met out there will be lifelong friends to me.
That's fantastic, and it's amazing to hear, like you just mentioned, you're so proud of your son, the fact that he was the one who got you involved in
Yes, he did. He invited me out in Bend, Oregon, and he told me, he said, "Dad, just make sure you bring a lot of your physical stuff because we're going to do a lot of activities." We did a lot of mountain biking, paintballing, you name it, man. It was a great time.
That's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about your career.
Hey, so I served in the Navy 21 years, prior enlisted, went through the Chief's Mess and became an officer. 3 ships, multiple shore duties, been in Iraq about 3 times, 3 tours in Iraq. So when Joe invited me up to the Wounded Warrior Project, I didn't know what to expect, Project Odyssey. But the one thing I'll mention, and I always talk about this, I was surprised that, they didn't really drill into why we were there. There's a lot of veterans that suffer from PTSD and hypervigilance and anxiety. But they didn't focus on that. They worked on the resiliency of it all. They said, "Hey, we know you veterans have been through quite a bit. Let me teach you how to live in the moment. Let me teach you how to be present, let me surround you with other veterans that may have gone through what you've gone through, and you all can talk amongst yourself and understand that you're not alone in this fight. So, my hat's off to the Wounded Warrior Project and their entire staff, to give back to veterans that have served, both in the combat zones or wherever, to spend their time, some of them not even veterans, and they just really want to help. So I really appreciate everything that they've done for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, our organization is all about connecting with the veteran and military family community to empower them and inspire them to serve again, right? Outside of the uniform, we have this saying, honor service through service.
Yes.
And so, everything that you're talking about, obviously the great work that the Wounded Warrior Project does. I personally have been supported by the Wounded Warrior Project in my kind of veteran life, and so it's phenomenal to hear about how you all have been involved with it and how the impact is growing.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about the game this weekend. Obviously, I know the Jaguars aren't playing, so that's out of the equation in terms of rooting interest. But how are you guys feeling? How excited are you about being at the game, and what are you looking forward to?
Yes, I'm super excited. When Loaman won the tickets for the Super Bowl, he immediately called me up and invited me to come along with him. So obviously, I was super, say yes, I can turn that down. But yes, I definitely wish the Jags could have made it. Loaman being a Bears fan, it was we made a pact that I'm not even a Bears fan, but because we were going to be at the Super Bowl. I wanted the Bears to make it. We'd be Bears versus the Jags, so it would have been a win-win situation for both of us. But I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled for the game, and I'm thrilled to see a great game.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to a Super Bowl. Again, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. The Bears have only been to the Super Bowl twice since I've been alive. So just to be able to come to a game like this is amazing. I wish both teams, success. Last night we had a chance to attend the Pro Bowl, and we got a chance to meet quite a few players. So it was amazing just looking at, some of the best out there competing with flag football. Had a great time last night, and, this day and through this week is just going to get better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, two teams that very promising looking for next year with the Jags and the Bears. I'm a Commanders fan myself, and so the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, 1-2 quarterback thing, I feel like they're going to be great QBs for a long time to come in the league. But no, it's fantastic to hear. We actually yesterday gave away 2 tickets to 2 Vietnam vets who are have been good friends and actually met in the process of serving as election workers in San Francisco. Awesome. And so we had them down and surprised them with tickets yesterday. That's and so you might run into them at the stadium on Sunday. But really appreciate both of you kind of taking the time to sit with us. Obviously, thank you for your service. One of the things that we are doing with everybody we're talking to this week is celebrating the 250th birthday of the country. Obviously, it's America 250 this year. Last year was the 250th birthday of the Navy, the Army, and the Marines. And so, maybe to start, if you all could just talk, especially from your perspective as having worn the uniform for 30 plus years, what does America mean to you as you reflect upon it being 250 years of the American experiment?
Yes, well, America is the greatest country in the world. For me to just be able to serve and contribute, that's something I'm going to live with me for the rest of my life. It taught me everything. The people that I met throughout my career, still lifelong friends to this day. The organizations that surround you, what's just there for you. It is by far. You can't even describe it and put it into words. So I was very honored to serve. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. And it's something that I would never, take for granted. My son is here, for me joining the military because his mother also served. She served 10 years in the Navy, so that's where we met. So it gave me everything I have right now in my life. So I'm just very grateful and thankful.
Yes, same thing for me. Most of my family was, Army. I decided to go Navy. There's something about that national anthem before the games that gives me pride. A friend of mine, his son graduated from the Air Force boot camp a couple of years ago, and I found myself tearing up because that's the new generation coming behind us, to serve and to protect this country. I also do honor flights too. I volunteer to take veterans to, you know, D.C. for the day and push them around in wheelchairs, etc. So I'll always be tied to my veterans. I'll always be tied to service. I'm so grateful for the 21 years that I did in the Navy. I would not change anything about my life. I mean, even my career now, you know, I'm still working in IT, which is what I learned in the military. And so everything I am today is because of those years that I've spent. And I'm very grateful for, you know, the service that I gave this country.
Fantastic. Well, you know, the family kind of passed down from generation to generation the service gene, right? My dad was a first generation, or moved to America, and then ended up spending 25 years in the United States Air Force, and then, you know, obviously kind of inspired me to serve. So it's great to hear about the other family relationships there. And again, appreciate you both making the time. The last thing we're going to ask is just to give a Happy Birthday America shout out to the camera. We're kind of building a big compilation of everybody wishing the country a great 250th.
Hey, happy birthday, America.
Yes, happy birthday, America.